Welcome back to the channel, guys. This video is going to cover DoorDash, in-depth DoorDash for DoorDashers. So about a month ago, I decided I was going to do DoorDash for a month, 30 days, and see what it was like. Whether you could make money, whether you could do it as a full-time gig, whether it was just a part-time gig. I watched a lot of videos on people saying, oh man, it's really a struggle right now. You can't make any money on it. And then I've also seen the other side of it where people say they are making a lot of money and it's very easy and lucrative. I don't know what market these people are in. A lot of people don't say where they're from on these videos and stuff like that. I'm in the Los Angeles market, so I feel like this market, people in LA tend to have a little more disposable income, you know. It's a very concentrated population, so you know there's a lot of orders necessarily not going far because there's a lot of big apartment buildings where there could be a lot of people living in, you know, in a small radius. So I feel like LA might not be the greatest example, but I do know that LA that's the only example that I have because that's where I live. So for those of you who know me, I wanted to make sure I did this challenge, you know, full-fledged and gave it a full 30 days. And like I said, for those of you who know me know that when I decide to do something, I do go full bore at it pretty much. So it took a month. I decided I wanted to give it a month of time to make a fair analysis and really try and help you dashers out that need help. So I hope what I do and what I say helps you a lot. So let's get right into it. All right, so you'll just have to bear with me for a minute. So we ended up doing it for the whole month. Our gross was $9,273.08. We did 673 deliveries. Our dash time was 463 hours. And our active time was 251 hours. So when I calculate the time and the rate per hour, a lot of people just take the dash time divided by the rate, but I don't do that. I don't think that's fair to the drivers because that will make your rate seem lower unless you actually are out driving all the time. I turned the app on at my house a lot of the times because I live around a grocery store, and sometimes I would sit here for an hour or 2 hours, and I would come home in the afternoon. I'd leave it running as well and see if their good order came on, which I'll explain why it's very important to do that later on. So I take about 20% of that off, so it left me with about 371 hours of dash time. Divided by the 92.73 comes to approximately $28 an hour. What do you think? Not too bad. So 25 bucks an hour, minimum wage at some fast food store is 20 bucks an hour in Los Angeles anyway. The wear and tear on your car, by the time you take gas and everything on that, you're probably close to around 20 bucks an hour. I am a platinum driver.
Money, 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 yes, everything they say. But nobody told me about the price you gotta pay. Money, 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 got it stacked up to the ceiling. But the weight of every dollar, that's a different kind of feeling. Money, money, money.
Some deliveries before June 1st to make sure I'd be platinum for this entire month, and I was able to stay platinum for the entire month. I never lost the platinum status once, and I even earned those 3 passes. If you lose platinum, you can use like a free get out of jail kind of card free to stay platinum. I don't know whether those work or not because I was platinum the entire time. And I will teach you the tricks on how to get the good orders even when you are platinum. Okay, so we know the earnings were $9,273.08 for the entire month of June. The first week I did $21.45. From June 8th to 14th I did $23.13. The 15th to the 21st I did about $2,500. The 22nd to the 28th I did about $2,000, and then the last couple days here I just did about 250 bucks. So I was averaging about $2,000 a week, and I was doing anywhere between 59 hours of dash time to 66 hours of dash time, and then having anywhere between 40 and 50 hours of active time as well. So all in all, I thought almost $9,200 was pretty good money just doing a side gig. And I only worked in the morning from 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m. most days. And then I would come home because I don't want to get road rage and deal with traffic. That's just not one of my fortes, and it will just piss me off for the entire day, and I won't be able to go back to work. So I would come home at 2, and I would stay here till about 6:37, and then I'd go back out from like 7 to 10:30, 11, depending on how busy it was. I was usually home by midnight or 11:30 every single day, so I could go to bed and get up the next day. Because like I said, I wanted to make sure I was consistent in this challenge to see, so I could help as many people out with my ideas and what my experience was. Moving past that, here's what I found out. All right, so my experience was this, is that when you're a platinum driver, you do get a lot more orders. Some with no tips, some have the blue bar saying that you're getting paid higher because you're a platinum driver. If you're a platinum, or if you're a pro shopper as well, which is also very important, you'll have a green bar saying you're getting paid more because you're a pro shopper for that as well. Seeing as I was both pro shopper and a top dasher, sometimes it was blue, sometimes it was red, and sometimes if it wasn't surging at all, I didn't get any notification saying that I was getting paid any more money than anybody else. So here's what I learned after 30 days. I learned that you have to be self-motivated to do this job. If you are not self-motivated, just get a job, a regular job, 9 to 5, where you're told to be somewhere at a certain time until a certain time, and then you punch in, you punch out, and you go home, and you know your responsibilities. If you're self-motivated and you want a little more freedom, then this job probably is for you. You hustle. If you're a hustler and you can jump out of bed knowing you have to work and you want to go to work, then this probably is a good option for you to make extra money or even be your sole income. I don't know too many places that are people that are making $9,200 a month. That is, 100, that's almost 100, between 110 and 120K a year delivering stuff. I mean, that's pretty good money working 8-9 hours a day. You'd be hard pressed to find someone else to compete with you on that. So if you're self-motivated like me, or you can give your own self a kick in the butt, then I think DoorDash might be for you. Here's some of the cons. Some of the cons are, I always like to do the cons first, because I hate to go down too far, but there's a lot of cons. There's a lot of restaurants in Los Angeles, and maybe everywhere, they treat dashers like absolute trash. They don't talk to you when you come in. They don't even barely acknowledge you. I think it's, since it's not my whole life, I had no problem telling these workers off, like, you're rude. I'll just say it to them, man, you're rude. Like I don't deserve to be treated like that. Don't lie to me. If you tell me the order's gonna be ready in 5 minutes and I come back in 5 minutes, don't tell me 10 minutes. Just tell me it's gonna be 10 minutes and I can decide whether I want to cancel the order or not. Some of these workers, they slamming the door in your face. They're giving you the bag. They're holding the bag because they think you're gonna steal the food. I understand, yes, some people do that stuff, but I mean, you have to understand, those people at the service restaurants, they actually think they're better than the drivers, but they're not, because they're locked in. They don't have the freedom. They have to go there every single day. They have to punch in, they have to punch out, they have a boss they have to listen to. We don't have to do that. So I'm not saying that we're better than them either, but they're in the service industry, we're in the service industry, should be working together as a unit to try and just get through it, because that's all anyone's trying to do, is just get through it. So I wish some restaurants would, I do love the feature now that DoorDash has given platinum drivers, that they have the option to block at least 3 restaurants that are just, there's some that are just rude. I don't want to say any names, but I mean, if you're in Los Angeles, you know, because I know if they're rude to me, they're probably rude to everybody. So that is definitely one of the downfalls. The second downfall is the shop and pay orders. When they're out of items, or when the customer's not texting you back about replacements, because time is money, man. So what I ended up doing is I would just substitute. You know, the trick to that, I'm going to do the tricks at the end, so I will give you the trick on that later. So that was the hassle there. And then, you know, there's a few grocery stores that don't want dashers, or you know, e-commerce, they call them, e-commerce people using the self-checkout, which I think is a bunch of bullshit too. You know, and then they only have one cashier open. So why do they only have one cashier open if 60 or 70% of the people in the freaking store are e-commerce people, and then they don't want you to use the self-checkout? You know, so that's another downfall. But I also know that I have a workaround for that as well. So for anyone interested, just stay tuned to later on in the video. I will do all the tips later on. A couple other cons of the snacking. You know, when you're at a job, you don't have the luxury of eating all the time, but I found that I would snack a lot. And in the first 4 or 5 days, I was snacking I was buying candy bars and chips and sodas and everything like that at the store when I was shopping and paying, since I was there. And I was starting to feel like I was gaining weight. So I got in the habit of eating fruit. I still snack a lot when I was driving, but I was eating fruit like peaches and nectarines and grapes or cherries and that in the car, which definitely I actually lost weight doing that, and I do feel a lot better. So, you know, the constant not boredom, but just seeing food all the time just made me want to eat all the time. So that's just my personality. Maybe you're not really like that. And the other cons are, you know, I can't really think of too many other cons. You know, it's some of the customer cons. Here's another one. The customer cons are when they don't give you a door code, or they don't reply, or they don't have their ID out when you get there, or the door code has changed and they don't update it in their menu. I mean, and then they get mad because you don't want to wait. I mean, and most of those people are like no tippers anyway. People that use DoorDash all the time, they tend to have their shit together, so they have it updated in the app because they know they don't want to have a hassle. But some of these other people, some people just don't care. Some people just want to treat the drivers like shit, I guess. So, like I said, since it was only a test for me and not my whole job, I had no qualms about just leaving the food at the front, taking a photo and saying, look, I tried your code, it didn't work, I'm leaving it here. Here's your photo. And I have another trick coming at the end to fix that as well. So those are not that bad cons when you think about it. If you have a regular job, you have, you know, personnel issues, maybe conflicts with people at work, or conflicts with your manager, or, you know, whatever other issues you might have at a normal job. So I think it's pretty standard. I don't think I didn't mind it at all, actually. I thought it was okay. I didn't mind. DoorDash support was always good, especially whenever I had issues. They were always, you know, quick to resolve them if I had any issues or couldn't reach the customer. I never ever got in trouble for just leaving the food if I couldn't reach the customer, because I would always have like text documentation that I reached out at least, and it wasn't my fault. Now we're going to get into the pros. So some of the pros are, like I said, you get to set your own schedule, your own time. If you're a hustler, you can do it yourself. If you're a hustler, you can get out there and do it yourself and get going and make as much money as you want. I was hoping to try and make $10,000 in the month, but I wasn't able to do that. $9,200 was where I maxed out at. I probably maybe could have, but $9,200 was enough. Okay, so now we're going to go into the tips. So I'm going to show you here, just so you can see that I'm being totally transparent with you. I am a platinum driver. no problem there. And I also am a platinum shopper. As you can see, my overall ratings is 94 out of 100 there. My acceptance rate is at 77%. My completion rate is 100. My on-time rate is 100. My quality rate is 100. My customer rating is 5.0. And then it just shows my lifetime delivery and dashes there. So here's, I'm gonna really break it down quick for you, and we're gonna knock this out. So I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of videos, people have 100% acceptance rate, and they're not getting orders, or they're getting really crappy orders. I found on how to trick the algorithm so you don't just constantly get every order, because once you're over a certain threshold, like what I found is when I went over 95, they pretty much send me everything because they knew that I was going to take everything. So what I did is I played with it a little bit and went down to around 85, and I started to get a little crappier orders and not as many. There was more lag time. So what I found very, very important, you guys, for those of you who are not getting orders, what I found is keep your overall Dasher rating between 88 and 93%. 94 is borderline too high, and 87 is borderline too low. But if you're in between, the magic beans are between 88 and 93. Because what's happening when you're at 88 to 93 is the algorithm is trying to push you up into the 94, 95, 96, 97%, so they can start sending you every order. They want to get you to that threshold so they can start sending you these crappy $3, $4 orders. So they send you them. So they're sending you a lot of orders, so you keep accepting. They're sending you a lot of good orders, good paying orders. So you just keep, money, and you just keep taking. And then you get over that threshold, and all of a sudden you're going to start getting McDonald's and shit orders. So, like I said, stay between 88 and 93%. 88 and stay between 88 and 93% for your overall Dasher rating. That is very, very, very important. That is the key to you making all the money. All the money. So, and if you're below the 88, then there's a little bit of lag time because they're still trying. The most important drivers for them are the people between 88 and 94. Those are the most important drivers to DoorDash. You are the most valuable to DoorDash because you're right on the cusp of becoming golden to them, where you'll take everything. And they want everybody to be golden, so they can just send all the junk orders to everybody. And if you're below, then they don't care about you as much. They'll try and pump you up a little bit, but they're more worried about the people in the 88 to 93, 94. So if you're under that, God help you. And if you're over that, start declining to get down there. The second most important metric to DoorDash and the algorithm is the on-time rate. You need to be at 98% or higher in order to stay up on the algorithm. Even if you have a rating of 88 to 93 on the overall DoorDash rating and your on-time rate is under 98%, you're not going to get the good orders still. There's still better orders that they can offer you that they're not going to give to you. So it's very, very important that if you happen to be late, dispute the rating right away. All you have to do is click on the on-time button. All you have to do is click on the on-time right here, and then you'll go into your on-time and you'll find the order that's going to be pink, and you're going to go down and you're going to click on the pink order here, and you're going to dispute the order. There's going to be a little dispute button there, and it's going to give you options. In the options, click traffic. It's like the third one down. Click traffic, and they will exclude it from you. So make sure you do that right away if you ever see that you're late. If for some reason they don't exclude it, because it happened to me once or twice, just next time when you dispute it, go into the notes and write like the police had the road blocked, or make up some bullshit that's why you were late. And they will exclude the order. That is the very, very, very important to do. Third is the completion rate. The completion rate, it should be 100. There is no reason that you should be canceling an order after you accept it. When you commit to something, you guys, You have to commit to it and just finish it no matter how shitty it is. If you accept a shop and pay order and you find out it's 5 cases of water and you don't want to carry it and it's a no tip, then you just learned a lesson. Make sure you pay more attention next time. Don't go canceling orders, because canceling that one order will screw you up, guys. It will screw you up from making more money. So just grin and bear it, man. Not everything is roses. Not everything comes out roses, but later on it will. So if you accept an order, you guys, it's very, very important that you don't cancel the order. You know, if you have a long wait time, if you wait 8 or 10 minutes, it will give you the option to cancel anyway. Or if you don't want to wait and you do need to cancel order, make sure you go through support, because then it won't affect your rate either. Those are the 3 most important things all you need. So here's a quick recap, guys. 1, make sure your overall dasher rate is between 88 and 93%. Not above, not below. 2, make sure your on-time rate is over 98%. Try and keep it at 100. I have been late many times and I just dispute it and they've removed it every single time. That's how I was able to keep it 100. Because sometimes it's out of your control. You just need to make sure you're proactive on it and try and dispute it. Say it was traffic, or in the notes just make up some bullshit excuse saying the police had the road blocked and you had to go around and that's why it was late. And they will exclude those from you. They will. And that will help a lot. Number 3 is the completion rate. Make sure if you're accepting orders, you complete the orders. That's all. If you want to take, if you accepted it, you got to complete it. Maybe you accepted it by mistake and you didn't realize it was 5 cases of water, but you have to do it, you guys. Just grin and bear it. It'll be over in 20 minutes and you'll remember to look at what's in the order before you accept it next time. So those are the 3 most important things to me that I found to do DoorDash and to be successful at DoorDash. That's the metrics you need to keep, you guys. So for those of you guys out there struggling and wondering why you're not getting orders, check your metrics. See if your metrics match mine. If they do and you're still not getting orders, comment, let me know, and I'll try and help you out and figure out why you're not getting orders. Because there's a few, I'm gonna just run off a few helpful hints I thought, you guys. So I found that I left the DoorDash app running when I was at my house because it gave me the option to decline orders. That's how I always was able to keep in this acceptance rate, or in the 88 to the 94 zone, because I would always take the good orders, obviously, but then I would always decline the bad orders. And sometimes I would have to take a bad order. You know, sometimes I would take $3 or $4 orders, no problem. I had no problem taking a $5, $3 orders, because I wanted to make sure the algorithm also knew that I wasn't cherry picking. Because it's kind of like if you were buying views or buying likes on YouTube. The algorithm is smart. It knows, it learns your habits. It knows what kind of orders you take. So when it throws a long ball in there, if you have a $40 order from Ralph's going down, going to Koreatown and you're in Hollywood, and it throws on a $7 Raising Cane's or some other order from McDonald's, take the order. You're going that direction anyway, just take it. Then it lets the algorithm know that you're still working with them, not against them or trying to trick them. The algorithm is constantly learning about what you're doing and what you're accepting and how you act, and it acts based on how you act. But it also tries to push you in a direction, like mind control, push you in a direction where it can just send you order after order after order after order. Like I said, I know a lot of people with 100% acceptance rate that can barely make $1,000 a week, man. And I've tried to tell them to lower their overall dasher rating, and they're scared. They don't want to. They think they're going to get nothing. And I told them they will. One guy listened to me and he's making over $2,000 every week now. So it works, guys. It works. All right. So my rule of thumb was this. Every day I would always accept the first order that came in, no matter how good or bad it was, because what it did is it got me into a routine of accepting the orders and into the rhythm of the day right away. If you decline the first order because you're just kind of like, I don't really want to take it, then all of a sudden you're in that cancellation mode already. It's much easier to start declining orders. Next thing you know, the day gets away from you and you've canceled 10 or 20 orders that day. So I always just accepted the first order, and then that gave me the benefit of I've already taken a couple bad ones, I can decline a few. So I like to look at I'm a very half full kind of person, so I'd rather look at the half full like, oh, I already did some bad ones so I can cancel, instead of like, oh, I already canceled some bad ones so I might as well just keep canceling. Next thing you know, you don't make any money. So also what I found is you need to get locked into the batch. Much like Postmates used to be, they would continually batch you with orders, but you need to get into the first order. The reason they want you to get into the batch is they have to pay you a pickup fee. So if you're already on an order, they don't have to pay you a pickup fee. So they're much more incentivized to give more orders to Dashers who are already on orders, because it saves them the $1 pickup fee. So over the long term for DoorDash, that's thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars that they would save. But they usually have a base pay boost anyway, so you don't even really notice the dollar. And that's why they do that base pay. So it's kind of a trick against you. So just keep that in mind. But in the end, you will make more money if you just accept the order and get in the batch. And they will continue to batch. You can have up to 5 or 6 batches. And I found that I would drop an order off and I already had 4, and they would batch me again right away with another one. I would continue to stay at 5, and they would throw some shitty ones in there too, and I would just continue to grind. And the next thing you know, my first shift would be over and I had made $200 in the 4 or 5 hours. So it worked for me, and I think that if drivers actually do it and try it, you will have positive experience from that outcome as well. So very important. That's a good tip. Just batch your orders, stay disciplined, and accept the first order, because it's a good way to start the day. Much like your mom probably taught you to make your bed. All right, number 2, the self-checkout issue that I talked about before. You're not obligated to tell anybody what you're doing there. You're not obligated to tell them that you're a DoorDasher. Shouldn't be snooping in your phone to see if you're tapping with the DoorDash card. You're not required to check in with them, with the store when you do it. So what I did is I just went to the self-checkout all the time. I would go to the self-checkout line, and they probably knew I was a Dasher because I was at some of those restaurants a lot, but I also shopped at those stores personally. So if they said anything, I would just ignore them. I never answered to them, and I would just continue to pay, and I would just, quickly tap the red card with my phone, because I have a mobile digital pay anyways, and it made it easy, and they never ever said anything to me. And I kind of wish they would have, because I probably would have told them off. Like I said, those workers there just, much like security personnel, they just want to patrol everyone and think they're better than everyone. But they probably actually get paid less than the day, and they're probably miserable anyway. So I just tried to ignore them. But this is a great workaround, and I never got questioned. I just kind of did my own thing, and if they talked to me, I just ignored them. And I just tapped them with my own phone. Sometimes they would say, "Are you doing DoorDash?" And I would just ignore them, or I would say, "No, I'm shopping for myself personally." Whatever. I mean, what are they going to do, really? So that's a good workaround to get that, especially if you have like 10 or 12 items and you don't want to wait in these long lines with these one checkouts. Just go to the self-checkout. Who cares? They can't do anything. So all in all, guys, I give DoorDash I had a great positive experience with DoorDash. The pros definitely outweighed all the cons. $9,200 I don't think is I think that's pretty good income actually for 30 days of work, and it was only 8 to 10 hours a day, so I was happy with that. I thought I was gonna have to do 12 hours every single day, but I never had to do that. I probably would have died. These drivers out there, some of these drivers that do double apps and 12 hours a day, I don't know how they do it, but power to them. And also I learned I do have a lot more respect for drivers now out there on the road, dealing with all the different types of things that they have to deal with. So remember, I think anyone that is not a driver that watches this video, you should definitely tip your drivers and appreciate them a lot, because they do a lot. They are servicing people, they are servicing you, and they should be treated with dignity and respect, and a nice tip wouldn't hurt either. So for all you Dashers out there, good luck. Let me know in the comments and send how much you make every week and what area you work in. I'd love to know what people make. I don't even know if I did well or not. So I'm very interested to see how this video does. And remember, please subscribe and share this video with as many people as you can as I build this channel and move on to something else now. So that will do it on my DoorDash experience, you guys. For me, it was all positive, mostly positive. I was very pleased with it. I was able to make, I thought, pretty good amount of money. But let me know in the comments how much money you make, how many hours you work, what area you work in, and things like that. And if you're struggling to get money and get orders, also comment and let me know so I can try and help you fix your broken system and get into the algorithm, get on the side of the algorithm so you can make money too. Anyway, guys, it was great. I'm glad you took this journey with me. We're on to something new now. I'm excited for the next adventure, and hopefully you'll follow it out. Anyway, guys, that will do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, like, share, whatever you can to get this video out there and promote my channel. Help me promote this channel. Also comment, you know, let me know how much money you're making, whether I did very well, whether I didn't do well at all, whether you did better than me. You know, give me some inspiration to do it for another month to try and beat you if you made more than me. So I'm just kidding. Anyway, to all the drivers out there, good luck, stay safe, and I hope you make a lot of money. I'm moving on to something new now, and we will see you tomorrow.